Hello and welcome to Friday Refresh, brought to you by the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. Have you ever struggled with getting things done and getting motivated? I do. In fact, it seems to have turned into quite a normal thing for me, unfortunately. Travis runs circles around me when it comes to getting things done. I don't think that most people would call me lazy, though. I think for me, it's less about being lazy and more about being overwhelmed with tasks to accomplish. I assume that is the case for many of you as well. Several years ago, I had the privilege to fly past Mount Everest a couple of times on a mission trip to Nepal and Bangladesh. That mountain is gorgeous at a distance. And truthfully, at a distance is where I want to stay. We may have to have another Friday refresh to talk about people who think it's a good idea to tackle that task. Anyway, when I look at the mountain and its enormous size, I cannot even begin to think of the motivation it takes to attempt it. The packing, the planning, the saving, the paperwork, the knowledge, the overwhelming attention to detail. It sends my brain into overload. But sometimes when I think about all the things that I need to accomplish in a week, I have the exact same feeling. Some days I'm afraid to take the first step. So what's the answer? How do we get the ball rolling? Well, let me share with you a few thoughts today that have helped me and might help you. Do you know what Nike means? I know most of you might have thought when I asked that, you probably thought about their slogan. But the word Nike comes from a Greek name for a goddess of victory. She represented overcoming and accomplishing. So the slogan that you thought when I said Nike is probably the first place to start. The first thing is just do it. That probably seems like the most obvious and unhelpful information that I could have ever given you. But in fact, I found that when you feel unmotivated and you feel overwhelmed, it's sometimes amazingly helpful just to get involved in some task and see it to the end. Finishing that task will help encourage you for the next one. It may result in what we call the snowball effect number 2. Now, I know that the somewhat mixed metaphor of Everest and a snowballing avalanche might not be the best, but if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, you have probably heard him talk about the snowball effect with debt. Knock out small debts first, and then you will find that it is self-motivating. You end up wanting to knock out even more. The same is true with tasks. Make a list and let the one that you go all Leroy Jenkins on in the morning and just do it be the small task, and watch it as it snowballs you to bigger and better tasks. Third thing is accountability. It's also important. It might be enough to simply have a list and journal the impact, a personal accountability. It might also be necessary for you to have someone else hold you accountable. People get more done when they have deadlines. So either setting it for yourself or sharing it with someone or having a boss or a friend or a coworker set you up with a deadline will help you to get the ball rolling and hopefully keep it rolling. Not sure what your Everest is today, but the only way to the top is to take the first step. Hopefully your journey today is a little less dangerous and not quite as cold. And that is your Friday refresh.